Welcome to Warrior Wednesdays, everyone. So happy to have you watching my video. Today I want to talk a little bit about the warrior chemistry a little bit more, follow up a little bit with what we talked about last week, and I'm going to be talking about the lies we hear in our head too. So I have found some things that work really well for me to be able to get myself back to that place of zero, or feeling like I know I want to feel like I can feel, where I feel like I am my best self, where I can go out and conquer the world. So one of the things I've done is I've created positive affirmation statements, and these statements I do with an action, and my statements are always changing. As soon as I've got it down and in my heart, then I'll switch to a new one. So those, we'll talk about those more in just a little bit. But the things I do with my physical body, because the neurons that wire together the neurons that fire together wire together. And so when you do something and say something together, or read something and watch something while you're doing something with your body, that helps make those pathways more permanent. It's not like Pavlov's dogs. You know, they were trained, ring a bell, they get fed, ring a bell, they get fed, ring a bell, they get fed. And eventually they would just salivate to the ringing of the bell, because they've been conditioned that the ringing of the bell meant food, whether there's actually food or not. And we're kind of doing the same things to ourselves on purpose, for the purpose of improving our mental health, our clarity, our happiness, our focus, things like that, things that are important to us. So one of the things that I have done, that I have triggered my body to do, is this is my wake up and mental clearing exercise. And whatever my statement is, I'll think that in my mind, or I'll say it out loud. I get up early and I don't want to wake anybody up. So lots of times in the morning, first thing, I will just say it to myself in my mind. And I'm going to back up here and see if I can get all the way in the video screen. Okay, so what I do is I will put my feet about shoulder width apart, and then I'll put my arms out and up and around and stretch up as high as I can, and put my head up, back around, my hands on my hips, stretch my arms back, kind of opening up, stretching here. And that's, I don't know, I've trained my brain to, that's my clear my brain. All the fog is out, and if I'm feeling sleepy, or if I'm feeling foggy, or I'm feeling frustrated, that's what I'll do. I'll just up and around, down, and push back, and I'll just stand there, and I'll just notice the clearing in my head. Now, you can make that do anything you want it to do, or you can have that clearing action to be anything you want it to be. But that's the one that I found works for me. Other things I have done that help me get in a clearing my mind state, or getting me back to that zero place, I'll run the stairs 1 minute, 2 minutes, and I will notice how my muscles feel. I'll notice the blood pumping through my veins. My legs, how they contract with every step. Another thing I've done is I have gone to the sink and slowly, intentionally drink a glass of water, and thinking about how Jesus is Savior of the world, and He is the living water, and how everything I have and everything I am is because of His atonement. And that is really calming to me. Yeah, so there's lots of things you can do. You can do push-ups, you can run, but I just like the simple, and I can do this even in my seat. I just stretch, and I feel the clearing, and it just really helps me feel better, because I've done that so many times with other things that it's just, it triggers that thing. It's like the bell ringing. And that's what that one does for me. If you have any questions, please feel free to put that in the comments, and I'll get back to you on that. And the other thing I want to talk to you about, we'll tie it back in, is how sometimes we're not very nice to ourselves. We're hard on ourselves, and man, it's going crazy. We tell ourselves things like, that was dumb, or I can't believe I just said that, or I am the biggest idiot. And those things are not true. Hello? The scriptures tell us we're the children of God. You know? You wouldn't go around calling God's children that. And another thing is sometimes it's not about ourselves. You're like, man, my kid is just driving me crazy, or my spouse, or my friend, or my boss. You know, they are just on a roll. I don't know what's wrong with them, whatever it is. You know, we think these negative things about ourselves and about others. And I'd like to propose to you that possibly they're not our own thoughts. I've learned that there is an adversary, contrary to the plan of happiness, who is bent on destroying happiness. And one way he does that is causing discord and discontent within ourselves, or within our families, the walls of our home, or the places where we live and interact. Man, that jerk cut me off. Well, lots of times it's not about that. It's about the adversary messing in our heads. Now, he can't read our thoughts, but he has given the ability to plant thoughts subtly in our mind. And then we take those, and then that spills those chemicals. And we start to internalize them and say them more and more ourselves. And as we do that, they become part of us. Just like I've trained myself for this to be a happy thing for me. These thoughts, these negative thoughts that we say, sometimes become part of us because we start to say them so much we believe them, they become internalized. And those are lies. And those really cause us to not be at our best selves. We are able to better be our best selves when we recognize, oh, that's a lie, that's not a truth. We flip it to the truth by saying the opposite or something similar to the opposite of it. For example, one day I had been, well, this is over the course of a month, I'd been hearing this thought in my head. I dropped the ball on that, dropped the ball on that. Wow, I really dropped the ball on that one. I just hear that over and over in my head, and one day I said it out loud, and I'm like, oh, wait, that's not true. I'm a busy mom, and just because I missed one thing, that does not negate or discount all the other good I do in a day. The laundry, the dishes, you know, I homeschool my kids, all that, you know, helping family, friends. It doesn't discount that. It just means I missed something, and it doesn't make me a failure or a bad person. You know, it makes me want to try harder for sure. But the whole thing of me being a failure is not true. I am a success because of the amount, not the amount, my ability to keep trying, just like you. So I want you to pay attention to things that you hear in your head that are not positive, and consider possibly that there lies for an adversary bent on your destruction. And once you identify that as a lie, flip it to the truth. Hey, I did pretty darn good today, and I'm happy with what I did. You know, I missed that one, but I still did a lot, and I did good. And I helped a lot of people. And so you flip that, and then you do that with a power action. Standing like a superhero, or other power poses. Now, there's a couple videos that are on YouTube if you look up power posing. There's a lot of videos on that. Amy Cuddy's got a really good one. Vanessa Van Edwards does a condensed version of hers, of Amy Cuddy's. And she talks about how it actually changes the chemistry within the body within seconds, or even less than that. It changes your ability to handle stress and be confident in what you're doing. just these confident poses as opposed to these minimizing things like, where you're kind of folding your arms and hunched down. It really makes a difference in not only how you're presented, but what your body chemistry is doing. And that's the whole warrior chemistry idea. And that's just the really cool part. So when we hear these lies, it's just so cool to be able to take them and flip them around so that we can, what it's done for me is when I identify a lie and I write it down and I flip it and I write the truth, those lies don't come up for me anymore. I've only had that happen one time in the 2 years I've been doing this experiment. And the second time it was so much more obvious. I laughed at it. It was hilarious to me at the time because I was like, bringing that up again? That's old news. That's old habit. Done with that. So yeah, it's just so cool. Learn to manipulate the chemistry that God has given us in our own bodies for the purpose of self-improvement. I'm in a mood to be powerful today. How about you? Let's go out and do what we're meant to do. See you later. Bye.